Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Green Room Podcast. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Colin Mitchell. Colin, decked out in your North Texas gear. How you
Feel
doing
like
today?
it's like half my closet. So
You have like 5 shirts in your closet, and 3 of them are North
listen,
Texas.
when you work from home and you don't have to like go out, you just wear what you get for free. And honestly,
Yeah, but even when you did go out, you still wore the same shirts, so it didn't change. Nothing
all right.
changed.
Well,
There you go. Anyways, we are joined once again by Reed Smith of Mint Green 24/7 NT Daily. Reed, how are you?
I'm pretty good, getting over a little bit of an illness, but other than that, I'm decent.
I thought you were gonna say hangover. I was like,
No,
I was like, oh man, okay. We're
it's a
just going right
Wednesday
into it.
afternoon. Come on.
That's usually Colin's department. We usually leave that for him.
what?
Um, but anyways,
Wow.
Reed just got back from 3 hours at North Texas fall camp, fall practice, whatever you want to call it. And he's going to recite every single play to us
Oh yeah, there you
and
go.
everything that happened over the last 3 hours. So Reed,
Exactly.
um, no,
UTEP, if
but
you're listening,
yeah. Reed,
Mhm.
how was practice today? And just in the past, I mean, it's been like a week or so since we talked to you last.
Yeah, it's been like a week and a half. Not much has changed. Pretty much the exact same thing the last week and a half. I said it last time I was on. The defense is pretty much set. The offense had that question at quarterback, which isn't really a question anymore. It's more of a we're just waiting for the official announcement type thing.
Yeah.
With Ani. So that's about it, really.
Yeah, so it's Ani's job, so we don't have as much quarterback talk to get to here. Again, the whole thing over the offseason and the reason why I came on this podcast yelling was, why are you bringing on JD Head and Stone Earl when you already have Reuter and Ani, and just adding more quarterbacks to the room when Ani apparently is going to be the guy doesn't make a ton of sense to me. But let's see what else. Offensively, I watched you went on Sonoy's show,
I
the
did.
marriage show. Shout out Sonoy, love Sonoy. Christian Lee is a guy who I've heard some good things about, and we followed him in recruiting. Obviously when he was a recruit, and I was mid 3-star guy, pretty highly rated. What have you seen from him this fall?
He's athletic. I think that the top two tight ends on the team on the depth are still going to be Jake Roberts and Asher Alberding, but Christian Lee's athletic. Obviously, as a wide receiver, transferring it or not transferring in, but
Yeah.
moving to tight end rather. He's athletic. He's quick. He's got deceptive quickness really off the line. He's been one of those guys that, you know, probably will not start this season, but it's a guy to keep your eye on in the future.
Okay. And as far as style goes, and I'm not going to ask for the exact play types, but you watched them last year. Last year, they had to be a run heavy team.
Yeah.
And something that I've been real curious about is, does it feel like, even though they have these receivers back and even though you have Ani back, the pass game should be okay? Does it feel like they're still going to be a run first team?
It does, and I think with the depth that running back room has, it kind of has to be one of those run first teams. You can't have Oscar Adaway, Isaiah Johnson, and Akaika Ragsdale on an offense and not use them pretty often. And if Ani is the guy going forward, which it appears that he is at the moment, this is a guy that finished bottom 10 in passer efficiency last season.
Completion percentage,
And
all that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it's not someone that I don't think that North Texas wants particularly throwing the ball all that much. So I still think it's going to be a run first offense just based on first looks. But if Ani, can use the new weapons he's got on offense in that receiving room with Neville, Macklin, and the returning Tommy Bush, then maybe you do see him throw a little bit more, but it's still a run first offense.
speaking of those receivers, how is Tommy Bush looking? I mean, obviously he was injured in the second game of last year. I mean, is he looking like what we thought Tommy Bush would be?
He's looking healthy, yeah, and he's one of those guys that can be a deep threat or a short threat with his length. And for a lankier guy,
Yeah.
he is pretty effective in a number of ways. And yeah, it was a question going into fall camp that will Tommy Bush be 100% healthy? Will he look like that guy that we that we got kind of a taste of last year before his injury at SMU. And to me, he definitely seems like, like you said, he's going to be that guy.
I'll shoot Austin Aune a little bit of bail from last year, which I haven't done much of, but their leading receiver was Rod Burns, right?
Yeah.
And this is what we've continued to say is Rod Burns, very, very talented player, good guy, everything you want from a receiver there. But there was a reason he was a walk-on at one point, right?
Exactly.
Like he's not Tommy Bush who went to Georgia. He's not Jair Shorter, coming in here. He's a good player. Now, Austin, and there were times last year where it felt like even if Austin Aune had time and even if Austin Aune made the throw, the receivers weren't getting the separation you needed, right? Because you just didn't have the depth at receiver and you didn't have the talent, to be frank, at the receiver position. You add Bush, you get short. I mean, you get Bush and Shorter back. You add Macklin. I mean, those three alone, in theory, should give you some big play ability. Where last year they didn't have any, and that was the thing for me was Austin Aune. Like, yes, that he was not good for a lot of the season, but then they had to turn to the run game. But even when like a play action pass or something, there was nothing down the field where you're like, okay, this guy's going to take the top off the defense or this guy's going to make that great play. And so that's why when I asked you, is this still going to be a running attack for the most part with an offense? I could see it still being a run first offense. The difference, and with this, what we hope, right? This is the hope 10 days out from game day, is that you can turn one of those running plays into a play action, into something off of that where the pass game can actually do something. And then we say, okay, Austin, just make the throw to an open receiver instead of having to make a throw to a contested receiver. What do you think about that assessment, Reed?
I think that's a valid assessment. And like you said, explosiveness has been something that North Texas has been lacking really in the last two seasons, especially in the receiver core. I think that, even looking at some of these plays and scrimmages and at practices, that explosiveness can be back. I know I've seen Austin Aune make downfield throws to, Bush last week in the scrimmage. And then at practice, you see, different guys kind of making big plays. And that's something that, at North Texas, the last 2 years, like you said, you haven't really seen. And, some of that could have been that, half of the receiving core was injured or in prison last year, or not in prison, but arrested last year. So, it's one of the,
yes,
certainly one of those things that the team is focusing on improving that explosiveness.
Yeah. Let's talk some defense. Let's talk some defense while we have you here. Heard about Steve Filiota.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be good. Tom Trebe, already talked about him. He's gonna be good. When you get to, and you've said that the defense is pretty much set in stone, right? As far as like starters go, like it's been the same starters every single time.
Yeah.
The two safety positions. Who do you have at those two starting safety positions?
Keelan Crosby and Sean Thomas Faulkner.
Okay, you've Sean Thomas Faulkner. I got to update my roster over here.
Yeah.
We probably should traded notes beforehand, but yes, all right. Let me put that over there. Okay, and how's Sean Thomas Faulkner look? Because we saw him in that Eagle position a lot last year.
Yeah, he's looked pretty decent. Sean's always been a pretty smart guy on defense. I mean, he's from the Citadel. You got to be pretty smart to come from the Citadel.
Mm-hmm.
But he's looked much improved from last season, I would say. I mean, he didn't get a huge opportunity last season until final 6 games, but he's looked decent. I mean, it's hard to replace Mikhail Sanders, but Sean Thomas has looked decently okay.
Yeah,
nothing that jumps out at you.
What about I know last time we talked about Deshaun Gaddy and the corners a little bit. How have they kind of looked? Because obviously the last few seasons it's kind of been tough. They get new guys and then you have guys leave. So how does that kind of look?
The corners look decent. It's hard to really tell how they're going to do with different, especially playing different teams and stuff. Against the first team defense or offense, you see them going against the twos a lot, and the first team defense going against the second team offense. So it's kind of hard to really gather exactly how productive the player is going to be until you get into the season. I think Deshaun Gaddy probably will be solid. you know, he's I'm getting a notification here, just checking if it's important news, but
nothing more important than this podcast. But I said nothing more important than this podcast.
I'm sorry,
No.
but yeah, Deshaun Gaddy is going to be that veteran guy on defensive back, and from what I've seen, he's looking like that, just solid.
Last two questions before we get you out. Is there a position battle at any position other than the quarterback position that is still in the air at this point? Or is everything else is like running back? I don't even know what else there could be. Offensive line set, tight end set, everything's set except for the quarterback position, which is pretty much set.
I think from what I saw today, everything is pretty much set. And the quarterback battle, whatever you want to call it, has also been cut down to 2, is what Coach Blesh told us after practice today. It's going to be Gunnell and Aune. I think we already knew that, but to officially hear that, it's going to be Aune backup starter. And could that be a kind of Reuter starts and then Aune takes over weeks 5 thing again?
Yeah,
we'll see. But
last question I have.
Gotcha.
And this is kind of a more challenging one, but I know you can handle it here. Give me an underrated storyline for either this team, this offense, this defense, a player, something that you think is not being talked enough by us media folk.
An underrated storyline,
like, is it like? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
I'm trying to think a little bit.
I'll throw some out randomly while you're going here. Like,
gotcha.
Could this defensive line be as good as last year's? Like, could the offensive line actually be like elite with all these players? Like, could I don't know. Is there a player or anything that stands out? Like, that guy could be an all-conference player. Is there anything like that?
I mean, I've already mentioned him before. I think Sifa Leota is going to be one of those all-conference players. I think from what I've seen at practice and just the pure size of the guy. I'm 6'2". He towers me. He's probably 6'3", 6'4". I'll have to check what he's listed. Just a real athletic guy. I think he could be one of those all-conference dogs. And I think that Brett wrote something about Oscar Attaway. Brett Vito wrote something about Oscar Attaway, but it still feels like a little bit like his return to the team is a much bigger thing than everyone is kind of leading on. And then on the coaching staff, per se, I mean, Mike Blesh having an offensive line
coach,
kind of that kind of culture, that I'm trying to figure out the word, that background.
Yeah,
I think that him also being the quarterback's coach is kind of not talked about a lot. But from talking to the quarterbacks for the first time this fall, we got to talk to quarterbacks today. They have learned a lot from Coach Blesh. They said that they learned blocking schemes. They know what the offensive line is doing now. And something that Aune said that kind of stuck out to me was a little bit. He said, before I felt like I was just playing ball. Now I kind of know what's going on. So
says the guy who's almost 30. That's crazy.
I was like, so that was pretty interesting. But yeah, I think those 3 things I said are pretty much sum it all up there.
Okay. All right. That was great. Well, we'll let you go. We'll let you get back to work, check any important notifications, and kind of go from there. But we appreciate you coming on, Reed, as always.
All right. I appreciate it. You're always nice coming on.
For sure. See you. All right.
He just left straight up like that? Or did you kick him?
I kicked him.
God damn, you couldn't even say goodbye? That's crazy. Normally, we end it and then we say like goodbye afterward, but you just straight up, man, you hate 24/7 that much?
All right, so let me fix the banner here and we'll continue.
I'm ready to go.
All right, Colin. Based off everything we just heard over the last 13 minutes, where are you at with this team?
If I hear one more thing about quarterbacks and there being a competition, I don't care if it's fictitious. I don't care if it's real. I don't care. You either this is where I'm at now. I used to be a huge Austin Aune supporter. Still am. But
you still have the jersey.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. No, but we're sitting here. He was the backup to Mason, right? How long ago was that? three years.
Yeah.
Almost, maybe 4. I don't know. Anyways,
2018, no, 2019.
20. Okay, so 3 years. So we're 3 seasons past that. He was the backup for him, and we're bringing in all these quarterbacks. You got Grant Gunnell, you got Jace Ruder, who we thought was gonna be really good. We had
JD
the
had
the left,
Jason Bean.
the left Jason Bean, the left-hander that left, never played.
Armani Gilmore.
Amani Gilmore. Like, we're bringing in all these guys who we think have promise, whatever. And either, like, okay, this is how I want to word it. How much better is Austin Aune than those guys when they're really young and he's about to turn 30? And I don't know exactly his age. He could be 28 or whatever.
No,
but what
I
I'm
think
saying
he's
is,
like 30.
is he actually 30?
And 29 or 30. I
yeah.
think.
So you're bringing all these young guys. You're going 5, 6 deep some seasons. Bryce Drummond too. And we're sitting here. Jace Ruder apparently just isn't even in the running for second or third string. You have Amani Gilmore gone, Jason Bean gone, and flourished at Kansas last year. So we have all of these young dudes that keep coming in, and leaving, or switching positions.
Will Keene, there's another one for you.
Will Keene, yeah. And we're still starting Austin Aune, and that's fine if he's the best quarterback. I mean, I get it. But how much better is he to where you got to put him above some guy that could possibly come in and be the next level? You know what I mean?
Grant Gunnell, in theory, has the highest upside. And I don't like talking upside with North Texas quarterbacks in particular, because I said Jace Ruder had the highest upside, and I probably did. But this gets to a point that we've mentioned for the past 2 years since Mason Fine left. It's not about the talent you have at quarterback. It's about the development of the quarterback.
Right.
And since Mason Fine, and you could argue Mason Fine is the outlier here, there has been very little quarterback development across the board at North Texas. You go through all the quarterbacks you just named. Amani Gilmore was at Kentucky. Like, he was the second string at Kentucky pretty much. Grant Gunnell, Arizona, like Memphis, like this is a legitimate guy. Jace Ruder, North Carolina, 4-star guy. You have the talent is there. As a coaching staff and as a head coach and as a quarterbacks coach, all this stuff, and maybe having Blesh as the quarterbacks coach changes something, but they have not been able to develop quarterbacks at any level. Bryce Drummond, Will Keene, these are 3-star dudes here that can play. They haven't panned out. And so that's why Austin Aune continues to win this job. It's because, and again, this is just me looking on the outside now. I'm not in there anymore. We're not in there anymore. From the outside, the last 2 years, it's been Austin Aune is the default because they cannot coach these other guys up to be better than him. And Austin Aune is 28, 29 years old, and so he's just better at this point. Like, and he's not even, he had completed 52% of his passes last year.
Yeah. And
but this isn't even a dude. And they can't beat him. They can't beat Austin Aune.
So, and I think we
Grant
talked about
Gunnell, Jace Ruder, Amani Gilmore, Will Keene, Bryce Drummond, JD Head, Stone Earl. Look at everybody I just named.
Yeah.
You can't beat Austin Aune. And I don't think it's their fault.
I agree.
It comes down to a coaching thing of quarterback development.
Okay, sorry, you got a little heated there. Anyways, what I was gonna say is, during the last, I guess, actual competition, it was Jason Bean and Austin Aune, right? The where they kept switching back and forth. Jason Bean that year, he had 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions on 181 attempts, 56% completion percentage. At Kansas last year, he had 15 interceptions, but 23 touchdowns, had 2,500 yards, 56% completion percentage still, but he doubles his production at a school.
Did you include his rushing stats?
I can't find. Oh, rushing stats right here. Rushing stats. So at North Texas, he had 346 yards on 56 attempts. Kansas, he had 402 yards on 92 attempts.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's still running. They're still using him as a running guy. He's not probably having those. Yeah. Yes, he did. He did have a 66-yard run. Just kidding. What I'm trying to say is they're developing a guy that, we thought at the time was the clear inferior player to Austin Aune. We both did. I think at that time we said Austin Aune is a better passer. Austin Aune can still scramble if he needs to, and they're gonna have a better chance of winning with Austin. Now you have a guy leave, goes to Kansas, flourishes, for lack of a better term, at a school that is probably not in as good of a position as
a punching bag in the Big 12.
Exactly, a punching bag. And here we are, Austin Aune, 2 years later, going, all right, who's the next man up to try to come take this job? And I don't think and like you said, it's not a knock on Austin. Like, Austin's just here, right? Like, he's doing his thing. it's a knock on, like you said, the quarterback development, because it's different if you have 2 or 3 guys coming in and they don't pan out. But at this point, it's what? I mean, 1, 2, 3.
Like
You have 5 right now, and you lost 3 or 4. So you're almost at 10 guys. I mean,
it's like we have to, and this is what it feels like. It's as though Austin Aune is this like heavyweight champion that like nobody can take down. You're just like,
he's
bring him
Muhammad Ali.
on, bring him on. The record
Mike
is
Tyson.
like 8. Yeah, he has like an 8-0 record right now. Like, who's next? Like Grant Gunnell, bring him on, 9-0. And it's like he's not this like elite guy. He's not a top 100 quarterback in the country.
Yeah.
There, I said it. It's go to any rankings that have ranked quarterbacks. They don't have Austin Aune as a top 100 quarterback, because how could you if you look at his stats and you watch him play last year? Again, I shot him a little bit of bail while Reed was here. The receivers were not good last year. They weren't, and that was because of injury, right? That's nothing Luttrell or other Blesh can control. But if the receivers can create some separation, if they can play this year, Austin Aune has to be better than what 53, 54% completion percent, whatever he was through last year. Like, he just has to be, because I love the running game. It's great. But at the end of the day, your ceiling is significantly lower if you can't throw the ball.
Well, and to be devil's advocate here, we're talking about them not being able to coach up young talent. I mean, how much has Austin Aune's career kind of faltered because of that same thing? You know what I mean? We haven't really seen improvement in terms of a numbers sense since he's started. And it's just been the same thing every year. He's not that accurate. He can throw deep, but that's pretty much it. He has really weird decision making. I mean, it's been the same knocks every year since he started. So, I mean, we could, who knows how good he could be anywhere else. So it's interesting that we keep bringing up, the young talent, but also Austin, I think, is also still a part of this, to where it's like, he could just be the guy that came in with the most polish just because of his age,
Yeah, it's definitely, man, we still found a way to talk quarterback for 10 minutes.
Well, because I was reading Reed's story and I was like, Grant Gunnell, huh? Jace Ruder ain't even mentioned. We got dudes who came and left, basically. I mean, he's still there. He's still a quarterback, but like
Casey Martin,
tight end. Tight end Casey
Martin, the tight end. Bryce Drummond, the linebacker. Yeah, it just
if I was these quarterback recruits, like,
what was that?
If I was these quarterback recruits and I come in and I go, like, I don't know how the decision comes to be, but it's like, we're going to move you to linebacker. And they're just like, well, I want to be quarterback. Well, I think you'd be a better linebacker. I think you'd be a better tight end, or I think you'd be a better whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, again, why did Casey Martin stay on as long as he did? I don't know. Why are quarterbacks happy changing positions? Why did Armani Gilmore stay as long as he did? I don't know. It's just like, I think the culture at North Texas is really good. I'll give them that. Like, I think the players like actually get along with everybody and actually like the coaching staff. Like, I think there's a really, really good foundation there, which showed last year in them winning 5 straight games to close the season. You don't do that. You don't go from 1-6 to 6-6.
Yep.
Unless if you have a really strong locker room. And so you have to give Luttrell all the credit in the world for that, and for figuring out that, hey, we can't throw the ball anymore. We're going to run the ball 50 times a game and just bludgeon people 100 times. So that, you have to give them credit for that. But the ceiling is lower if you can't throw the ball here. So that's what the hope is. And that's why we were hoping maybe Gunnell or somebody else would emerge here, but it just hasn't happened. So that's why the questions are warranted at this point.
Shout out quarterbacks, honestly.
All right. We're 10 days from North Texas versus UTEP, Colin.
Yep.
I'm not going to ask for a prediction.
However, 10 days is kind of crazy.
However, I did tweet out that I was looking at the under. I know you don't get into sports gambling very much, but
well, it's illegal here, so
it is illegal over there. It is what you make it, I guess I'll say.
It is what you make it.
But anyways, here in Louisiana, we're having a great time looking at stuff. The over-under is at 55.5 or at 55, depending on where you look at it. And I think just looking at that and as a talking point instead of like a gambling, point more than anything. But I was looking at the under, and it kind of ties into the Austin Aune thing, but also it gives us a little bit of a preview for UTEP real quick, because UTEP did lose Jacob Cowing, their star receiver. They don't have as much potential potency on the outside at receiver. So this could be two teams that maybe run the ball more, that maybe aren't as explosive. And I think North Texas, even in this first game, even if by game 2 or 3, like SMU or something, they start to open up the playbook a little bit more. I think week 1 we see them just kind of, I don't want to say play it safe, but they're going to run the ball first. Like I think this is going to be a run first team against UTEP specifically. And for that reason, I'm looking at the under there pretty heavily at this point. North Texas is also a 1-point favorite for those who are interested in that.
Yeah, that's
legally.
what I was looking at.
Legally, of
well,
course.
Let's just, since it's legal where you are, what'd you bet? You going on?
I haven't bet it yet, but that's what
we gotta have a Brune's bets section where it's like
Brune's bets. All right, we need a whole new background actually. Whenever that happens, just like fireworks in the background.
It looks like Margaritaville and Shreveport. Anyways,
that was a good time.
It was.
For some of us more than others.
So like you said, the over-under is 55. It's also going to be really hot, and I think that dudes are about to get like. It's true. Like this could be a disgusting game.
It's a good point.
So
I think about what has to hit for 56, and that's how, like, as you know, a gambler.
It's got to be which, in my eyes, I don't gamble. Which team just gives up from the heat?
Who collapses first?
Yeah, it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be like 7-7, like even through this, probably into half or something dumb, and then it's just gonna be like one team comes out from that air conditioning, they get the headache, they're not used to it, then boom, just doors blown open.
That actually happened to me at a tennis tournament when I was younger. It was very hot outside, and I won my first match or two, and then I had like a couple hour break. We go to the car, air conditioning, take a nap in the air conditioning. Come back out, killed. I got destroyed. So, anyways, let that be a lesson. Don't turn the air conditioning off.
Seth, if you're listening, don't turn the air conditioning on.
Nope.
Put a sauna out there.
Honestly, just put a little tent up and
a black tent. Get some garbage bags and just wear them.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, that's how I'm looking at the over under there for those interested. Looking at the under, I'm not touching the game. I don't know. As much as I want to say, and I don't remember who it was. I believe it was Cyrus. Used to write for SB Nation, I think, or Underdog Dynasty. He said he expects UTEP to have a significant regression to the mean, which I think is understandable for a team that I think won 7 games last year. Like that's by far the best season UTEP has had in years on years.
Yeah, and they lost 4 of their last 5. So
yeah, I mean, I think that's looking at it from that perspective. North Texas should have more talent. North Texas should have more continuity, right? North Texas across the board, even if you look at their income, the freshman class, like it's a good class. Colin Farrar, go down the list of players. It's a good class. They should be able to win this game on paper. The thing is, and why I'm always scared to talk and bet North Texas, is that you just can't look at this team on paper and predict anything. Like a lot of times, especially on a road game at UTEP, where UTEP is trying to sell the damn venue out.
51,000 people, according to ESPN. Like that's the capacity, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know. They're trying to get like 30, 40,000 people there. I'm like, okay, if that happens, I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared. So,
well, quick question for you. Back to what we had talked about last podcast, or I guess 2 podcasts ago. Is this a must-win game?
I'm talking myself into North Texas, Colin. So, I'm talking myself into them winning this game.
You're never the one to talk yourself into something. It's usually you talk me into something. So
yeah, I do think it's a must-win game for the purpose of, again, winning 7 games this year, right? That's the whole purpose. Win 7 games. I don't want to put a hashtag on it yet, but what was the hashtag?
This is it.
Yeah, we had this is it. I thought we had one the year after that, but it was really sad or something like that.
Oh, I think we were gonna put it out, and then we were like, "This is not good."
I don't remember. But anyways,
that was then. Like, this is now.
It's like you need 7 wins. All right. Yeah. How do you get to 7? You have to beat UTEP, because while I don't think anybody outside of SMU on this roster is like dominant in UAB, like it's SMU and UAB are the clear-cut best teams on this schedule.
Yeah.
You still do have Memphis. You still do have UTSA and Western Kentucky. And that's 5 right there. And FAU, that's 6, right? That's 6 tough games. So I think you got to beat UTEP to get to 7, and you kind of go from there. So we'll see how all that plays out. Anything else? I do want to do a podcast. I want to do 2 podcasts before the game. One, I want to do. Well, this will kind of maybe get read on for like some final thoughts, whatever. And then I want to do our own prop bets. So
Oh, I
like
like that.
our own over-unders and
I
stuff
like
like
that.
that. And then we can keep a tally going throughout the year or something like that. All right.
Yeah, I'm
keep
definitely
a
gonna
running-
win this. I'm definitely winning these
Okay.
because you're gonna be too numbers focused, and I'm gonna be in North Texas
this-
is too unpredictable. So
This is how we'll do it. Or we'll do something along the lines of like, I'll say DeAndre Torrey 58 rushing yards or something. And you get the first
DeAndre
pick.
Torrey's still on the
for it.
team.
No, he's not.
Like
I
God,
think he's playing for
7.
the Jets now or something like that.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure he's no. I'm pretty sure he's.
It was
like,
just a hypothetical, Colin. It was just a hypothetical. But anyways, yeah, we'll do that. Have some fun with that. We'll get real one more time, and then we'll do a final predictions one a couple days before the game, season predictions, game predictions, all that stuff. Maybe take some Q&A questions as well, and
I
that
like
will
it.
be that. All right, good. I'm glad you like it. Coming up with stuff on the spot. Very good. All right, that's all we have for y'all today. We hope y'all enjoyed the episode. I'm Matthew Brune, Colin Mitch. Y'all know who we are. Follow us on Twitter. Right there. Follow us on YouTube or subscribe on YouTube. Comment, share, all that stuff. If you're
Facebook.
watching,
I gotta get better at this. This has gotta be. This has
the
gotta be
face-
better than the
the
Facebook,
Facebook, the
the
Spotify, the Apple,
or anywhere,
as
anywhere,
well.
basically.
Probably anywhere. But yeah, check all that out. We appreciate y'all for joining us, and we'll talk to y'all later.